Hello, gorgeouses. Welcome to the morning show. I am your host, Marli Ansel, at Marli Ansel on the Instagrams, and this is the morning show where you come to get your daily dose of inspiration and level up into your highest being. It is all about real life, but we make it magical. And there is so much to talk about. So let's dive in. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, fam. How are we feeling? Turn this light down a little bit. So today we are talking about how to embrace your fuck it era. All right. So if you watch the morning show with some little ones in the car, today is going to be not so PG. So asterisk, asterisk. It's going to get a little wily. How are you feeling? You see, I have the most appropriate cup in the world for today. So today we're talking about your fuck it era. And I know we're cussing in the morning, but this is really, really important, especially if you are someone who chooses to embrace your authenticity. If you are someone who can feel there is a full potential that you have not fulfilled yet. If you are someone who can feel that maybe you've been holding back for a lot of your life and you're done with that. So we're going to talk about today 3 keys to embracing your fuck it era. But before we do, let's talk about these cosmos. How are you guys feeling? Listen. It's ba-boom, 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 ba-boom happening for us, okay? I don't even know. To be totally honest to God, I don't even know. I am in full surrender mode for the ride. I feel like it's going to be a roller coaster. I feel like it's going to take us exactly where we need to go. The image in my mind that I get is a metaphor that I've taught a few times in my programs, where if you were on one of those water slides at a theme park, you know, those water slides that with like the giant tubes and it has water rushing that carries you. If you are afraid of the momentum, what is your instinct to do? Hold on to the side of the slide. And then what happens? The water's rushing under you and it's like boom, boom, boom. It's a really rocky ride. We are at that time period where you need to let go of the side of the slide and allow the momentum to take you exactly where it's meant to take you, because in truth, you don't have a choice. And in double truth, if you don't, life's going to get really clunky and hard. So we are at the precipice of massive changes. Like there's huge, huge changes that are happening right now. We have our Libra eclipse that really kind of kicks off this ride on March 25th. Eclipses are always big, sudden change, big, sudden, almost like forced change. That's what eclipses are all about. So if you've been resisting something, if you've been holding back in any way, the eclipse comes in and kind of forces you to let go of the side of the slide. And then from there, we have the solar eclipse on April 8th, which I feel is where the momentum is taking us to. It's almost like the explosion at the end. And then we're in a whole new world. We shall see what happens for us. But tomorrow we have our spring equinox, which is a new beginning of sorts. It's a huge new beginning. It is what you have been removing over the last few months and simultaneously planting new seeds. Now those seeds kind of start to sprout. They start to see growth. All of this is to say we're in a whole new world. We're in a whole new world. You can embrace it and love it, or you can fight it and resist it until you embrace it and love it. But that's where it goes. So let's talk about your fuck it era, hey? So I was talking with my husband about this the other day. I said, you know, it's so funny is I really try not to cuss online because I do want, you know, I've got little ones that tend to Google me. And I do want, I try to have everything be pretty PG. But there's some things that can't replace it. You know what I mean? There's some things that you have to say it. And your fuck it era is all there is. That you can't say anything else for that. You know, there's no other word that fits in there that really gives the vibe. So we're speaking French in the morning. We're going to talk about 3 keys to embrace this era of your life and how important and vital it is if we ever want to be free, if we ever want to arrive at a time in our life where we feel like I am me, I'm allowed to be me, I'm fully me, I'm owning who I am, I'm allowing the full flow of expression. So let's dive in. If this is where you're at, this has nothing to do with age, but I will say there is a level of fuck it that comes with your late 30s, maybe even into the 40s, probably. That feels a little more true for most people, where you are unconcerned as much as you were with what the world thinks about you, with if you need to be like properly dressed to go to the grocery store. You have less of a concern about being in your perfection. You have less of a concern about getting it right, so to speak, because you spent a few decades doing that and it's quite exhausting. Amen. So when you reach this point in your life, it really is a level of freedom like you've never felt before. There is a level of discovery, like discovering the truth of who you actually are. Chris says so true. Yeah. And there is a level of what else? Like, what else? Because once you hit the point of freedom, where you stop concerning yourself so much with what the world thinks, mostly because you become mature enough to realize that the world isn't thinking about you. Right? You realize that for everyone who walks this planet, they are the most important person to them. People don't think about you as much as you think they think about you. And so you kind of hit this moment where you go, well, fuck it. What do I want? And that is a key to freedom. Amen. That's a key to freedom. So I'm going to share with you 3 vital things I think are very important for this era in your life in order to fully embrace it, in order to allow the fullness of it in a way that does feel like a free, like that ride down the roller coaster without it being so chaotic. So one of the first things that I feel is necessary for you to embrace is that you have to realize that you are a good person. You have to realize you have a good heart, and you unleashed is a really good thing. Do you see what I'm saying? We keep ourselves together. We keep ourselves in this little conformity box. And it's almost as though there's a fear that if we did allow ourselves to fully unleash, that it would be this bad thing. But I want you to really get honest with yourself, like really realize for a moment here, you're a good person with a really good heart. And more of your energy in the world, even if it was erratic, is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. Can you imagine? Think about your utmost, like what you would love and want more than anything in the world. Feel that feeling and feel how does it negatively affect other people or does it positively affect other people? If you really got down to it, you're like, what you want most in the world, does it negatively affect people around you or does it positively affect people around you? You start really thinking about it, you're like, oh, wow, that would actually be a great thing. So, key number 1 is you just have to realize you're a good person. And you going into straight up fuck it mode literally means more good in this world. It means more of that authentic vibration of you. It means more of that golden frequency going out into the world. It's a really, really good thing. Amen. Number 2, speak your truth even when it's fierce. There was something I heard the the other week, last month, who knows? But it was talking about the frequency of love. And we talk about the energy of love being the highest frequency there is. And a lot of times our mind, our human mind can see love as being all embracing. You know, you love and accept everything around you. It's like this, it's almost like a soft energy. But love is fierce too, isn't it? Think about you would literally kill for someone you love if it came down to it. You would do anything to protect the people that you love. Love is fierce too. Love is not just like sunshine, light, and rainbows. Love is fierce. So sometimes we hold back speaking what we really need to say, not out of love, but out of being nice. Nice doesn't really get you anywhere. Now, I'm not saying be unkind. Kind is different. Being kind, you can be kind and fierce. Do you know what I mean? You can be kind and also speak your truth with a fierceness. You see what I'm saying? It's not about being nice. And I'm not saying that nice is a bad thing, but nice can get you walked on a lot of the times, right? Nice can have you holding back what you actually truly wanted to say because you fear being seen as not the good girl or not a nice person. When in truth, you can speak your truth fiercely. You can speak it in a way that is kind, but also speaks exactly what you have to say. Now, granted, if this is something that you have not trained yourself into doing, it's gonna feel a little weird at first. It's gonna feel a little like, was that okay? Was it okay that I just said that? Chris said, you never know what you will do until you are in the situation. So true. Yes, 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 yes. So one of the things that I practiced to be able to adapt this was saying no as a full sentence. I I adapted this purposefully. It was back in my mid 20s. Whenever someone would ask me something, ask me if I wanted to do something, ask me if I wanted to go here, ask me if I could do them a favor, I would immediately answer no. Stick with me. I'm not a nut. I would go, no. Before they ever even finish their sentence, I go, no. And then I would say, I'm just kidding. What was it that you asked for? Because I wanted to train myself to sit in that discomfort. You see what I'm saying? I wanted to train myself to sit in the uncomfortable feeling that the person across from me might not like me for a second because I said no to them, which we don't know to be true, right? That's just something I'm making up in my own head. And I wanted to get comfortable with an abrupt no, no, no. So, what it did for me was eventually, when I did need to truly just say no, I could say no, no problem. So, this is one of the things my husband loves about me the most. He never second guesses if I want to do something or not. Because if he asks me if I want to do something and I don't want to do it, the answer is no, and it's a full sentence. I'll just say, he's like, hey, do you want to da da da? And I'm like, no. And that's it. But do you understand? I want you to really, really get this. Once you can train yourself out of being nice and into being kind, knowing that you're a good person with a good heart, saying no to somebody is not mean. There's my husband right there. Truth. It's not mean, it's a gift. Wouldn't you rather so much that someone speak their truth to you rather than pretend that they're okay in order to make you happy? Like, oh, nobody likes that. Nobody wants that. Like a fake smile while inside you're like, I fucking hate this. Right? So I made a declaration a long time ago that I will not do things that I don't want to do. But being able to speak it is a whole different level, right? So, no is a full sentence. Speak your truth even when it's fierce. Now, this can be really big. This could be a whole conversation in itself. So, we'll spend just a couple more minutes before we go to the last one here. Speak your truth even when it's fierce. When you have something that you can feel must be said, and to suppress it would feel like it is suffocating your soul. You have to learn to speak that even if your whole body is shaking. I used to say, wiggle your toes if you must, but speak it firmly, speak it wholly. Because the most important things that we have to say, 9 times out of 10 are not going to be comfortable to say. Do you know what I mean? It's not. But we can't go our whole life suppressing what we have to say just because it's uncomfortable. Like we have to be able to stand in the wholeness of who we are, in our center, knowing we're a good person, knowing we have a good heart. We're not saying anything to hurt anyone ever, and speak your truth. Speak your truth, speak your truth, speak your truth. Now, caveat, that doesn't mean you need to go tell everyone what you think all the time. That is not necessary. But if it's a moment where it really matters, we have to learn to do that in a way that is true to who we are, even when it's massively uncomfortable. And a lot of times people will appreciate that more than anything. I know I do. I would much more appreciate someone speaking truth to me, even when it's uncomfortable, than to hold back and pretend around me. Do you know what I mean? And so I want to give that gift to other people. And granted, it's my job. Like I'm a coach. I'm not doing anyone any favors by just being nice and allowing them to continue in their patterns. You know what I mean? I have to be able to speak what I see. I have to be able to speak it truly and speak it firmly while being kind. And it's entirely possible. Okay. It's entirely possible. Okay. And then the last one is, and I love this one. This is my absolute favorite one. Please adapt this for your entire 2024 year. Let because I want to be the most valid reason ever. Like as much as because I don't want to is the most valid reason ever to say no. Let because I want to be the most valid reason ever. How often do we justify what we want to do? Like, eh, no, because I want to. Why do you want to do that? Because I do. That's it. That's it. Let that be the most valid reason that exists. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to have any kind of logic behind it. Do you know how often I do something just based on a feeling? Like 98% of the time. If I had to justify that every moment of the day, I think I would explode. Like, because I want to. That's it. That's it. Allow that. And then watch this. Watch you do that and have that be your reason. Tell people that's your reason. Watch it free them. Watch it free everyone around you. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Because I want to do it. Yeah, but why? Because I want to. You'll stump them. You'll stump them for a minute because they will have this moment where they're like, wait a minute, that's allowed? You can do things just because you want to? Yeah. Yeah. So to recap, one, 3 keys to your fuck it era. Let 2024 be your year of freedom. Let it be your year of reclamation. Reclaim who you are, reclaim sovereignty over yourself. Key number 1, realize that you are a good person. You have a good heart. You unleashed in your fullness would be the best thing for this world. Amen. Like, just affirm it. Me fully unleashed is the best thing this world could ever get. Right? Like, adapt it, bring it in. Like, my wholeness, be too much. I got to read you my favorite quote. I have to read you my favorite quote. It's right here. So, I have had a wounding. Let's see what my wise sage of a husband has to say here. Stand for what you want to give others the permission to do the same for themselves. Yes, yes. And okay, so while Robert is fully present on here, I want to tell a story one time about him because he taught me this really, really holy. We were visiting my family for like one of the first times. I think it was like maybe the second time we had ever been there. And I felt, how sometimes you bring a new person home and you're like, oh God, are they going to be okay alone with my dad? And like all of those things, right? Why? That didn't even cross my mind with Robert. And not only that, he was so himself that I saw my family relax. And I remember we were going to bed that night and I asked him, because I do this, like I asked him, like, how do you do that? Like, what is your mindset around that? Which, by the way, brilliant question to ask any human that you see doing something really well. Don't ask them what they did, ask them what their mindset is around it, because that will give you every key you need. And he said to me, the way that I see it, everyone just wants to be themselves. So the more I am myself, the more it gives them permission to be themselves. This was one of those moments that just completely changed me forever. Because how often are we so self conscious about trying to make a good impression on other people while the whole time other people are just focused on their own self consciousness? If the more I can be me, the more it gives others permission to be them. This is the key to everything. The more I can amplify who I am, the more you're going to see others amplify who they are. The more I can embrace my wholeness, the more others are going to be able to embrace their wholeness. Like, it's so simple and completely profound. Okay. 3 keys to your fucking era. You're a good person. You unleashed on this world is nothing but good things for this world. You're welcome, the entire universe. Number 2, speak your truth even when it's fierce. I would love for all of you to just go practice saying no. I know it's one of the hardest things, especially as women. We are trained into being nice. Practice being kind but fierce. Kind but fierce. Like the kind of energy where someone immediately, oh, I didn't tell you my quote. I'll be right back in a second. Okay. Someone upon meeting you immediately respects you, is intrigued by you, and also would not dare overstep. You know what I'm saying? Like kind but fierce. And then the final key, let because I want to be the most valid reason ever. Because I want to. That's it. That's it. How simple our lives become if I don't have to justify anything. Because I want to. That's it. Okay, then we're going to wrap with my quote. So I have had a wound around too much my whole life. And as you can see, it has been something that I have been embracing. Be the wholeness of who you are. Speak. I can't tell you how many times my spirit guides have just been like, speak, Marli. That's your gift. This is what you have to give to the world. Speak. But I've always had this like, don't be too much. You don't want to overpower people. I have my entire life the tendency to take over. You know, when I come into a room of anything, it is a natural inclination to lead, to see how I think things should go. So anyway, I've spent a lot of my life holding back because I felt as though I was too much for people. So this is one of my favorite quotes. Life is so beautiful and so short that anything that makes me feel less than too much is truly nothing at all. Anything that makes me feel less than too much is truly nothing at all. Ugh. Fuck it. Be too much. Be too much. All right, my loves. I hope this served you today. We need to start our Monday out with some kicks and some fire. Thank you for being here live. If this resonated with you today, please share the show with someone that you know it would make a difference for. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for showing up. We're here every day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. with some goodness to level us up into our highest being. I am Marli Ansel. I'm a spiritual teacher and coach. If we're not already friends on the Instagrams, come follow on the Instagrams. And if you want to catch the replay, you can also catch the replay on YouTube, which I know is a little bit of an easier viewing experience than rewatching a replay on Instagram. So that is available to you. If you are interested in working with me, coming into my world, you can send me a direct message and we'll chat about what I have available for you. Immediately, I have a mastermind that is opening tomorrow entitled the Reclamation Mastermind. It will start tomorrow and go through the end of the year. So if that interests you, you can reach out to me directly. And I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I will see you all tomorrow for another episode of The Morning Show. Goodbye, my loves. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Goodbye.